My parents always told me they had a college fund for me. They said it was a special account growing every year, and that all my sacrifices, the birthday money I saved, the summer jobs, the allowance I never spent were going straight into my future. My friends would be spending their cash on movies and clothes, but I always felt like I had a bigger purpose. I was saving for college, and my parents were my partners in this great mission. I was going to be the first person in my family to go to a 4-year university, and my parents were so proud. I spent my high school years working part-time at a local diner, bussing tables and washing dishes. Every single paycheck went directly into the fund. My friends would ask why I was working so hard when I already had a college fund. My parents told me it was to build character, and that every dollar I saved was a dollar they didn't have to contribute. I told myself it was worth it. After all, I was going to have a debt-free college experience. Senior year came around, and I got my acceptance letter to my dream school. I was so excited. I ran into the living room waving the letter, and my parents were ecstatic. "Look at our brilliant daughter," they said. "All your hard work has paid off." My mom even pulled out a bottle of sparkling cider to celebrate. The next day, I asked my dad for the bank account information so I could finally see how much we had saved. He got quiet, told me he needed to verify some things, and promised to get back to me. A week later, he sat me down with a grim look. "On his face, honey," he said, "there's no college fund." My heart stopped. He explained that a few years ago they had hit a rough patch financially and had to use the money for an emergency. I asked him what kind of emergency. He got flustered, avoided eye contact, and said it was a personal matter. I went to the bank with a pit in my stomach, and a very kind teller helped me see the transaction history. There was no financial crisis. There was a single, massive withdrawal a few months prior, and the memo line read, "Luxury Caribbean Cruise." I went home and confronted them. My mom started crying, saying they had worked so hard for years and deserved a break. They had always wanted to go on a cruise, and this was their one chance. I looked at the photos on the fridge them on a beautiful beach, smiling with drinks in their hands. While I was scrubbing floors at the diner, they were on a vacation I had paid for. The silence was deafening. My dad just looked at me and said, "We'll just have to figure out a new plan. I'm in community college now, working 2 jobs to afford classes. I have student loans. I've been a student for the last 6 months, and my parents just posted a photo of their new boat on Facebook. The name of the boat, the Freedom Fund. That boat, it wasn't just a boat, it was a monument to their betrayal. Every time I saw a picture of them smiling on the deck, I felt the fire of resentment burn hotter. They stole my future, and then they had the audacity to flaunt it. So I started a new fund, but this one was different. This one was for payback. I worked harder. I picked up a 3rd job. I started tutoring. I saved every single penny with a singular goal in mind. I didn't tell them I was still in school. I just said I was taking a break. They were relieved. They thought the storm had passed. They had no idea. I was just waiting for the perfect moment to strike. My parents loved their new boat, taking it out every weekend. They'd post endless photos of them living the dream. A few weeks ago, I got a text from my dad. "Hey honey, we're having a little trouble with the boat's engine. The repair shop wants $10,000, and we're a little short." My mom even called, crying, saying this was their dream, and they couldn't lose it. She asked me to help. I told her I would. I told them I was happy to help. A few days later, I showed up at their house with a cashier's check. They were ecstatic. They hugged me, thanked me, and called me their savior. They had no idea what the check was really for. The amount on it was enough to cover the engine repairs, but the memo line was a different story. It was a bank draft. I had purchased with a very specific memo, loan for a boat, to be paid back with 10% interest from the sale of said boat. And just like that, I owned a piece of their precious boat. Their faces went from pure joy to utter horror as they realized what I had done. They tried to tear up the check, but it was too late. I simply smiled and said, "I thought you'd want to be financially responsible for once." I haven't heard from them since, but I know they're stuck. They can't sell the boat without paying me back, and they can't afford the repairs without my money. They are trapped by the very thing they stole from me. The revenge, sweet and debt-free.